Dogs can be affected by many lower urinary tract problems. But do you know how to tell if it's from an infection or if there's something serious like cancer or even bladder stones? Many of these conditions can cause similar symptoms like accidents in the house, straining to urinate, and pain. In this short video, I'm going to cover what you need to know about urinary tract infections in your dogs, the symptoms, diagnostic tests your veterinarian should be doing, and also how you can use diets and natural remedies to help treat and even prevent those nasty UTIs from recurring in the future. For pet parents who are new to our channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, holistic veterinarian and founder of The Natural Pet Doctor. We're on a mission to help amazing pet parents like you have the tools and knowledge to help your pets thrive naturally throughout life. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to never miss out on any of our future content that gets released every single week. So let's start with how you can tell if your dog has a urinary tract problem. It can be hard to tell if your dog's in pain because they may not show any signs at all. However, if you're seeing bloody, cloudy, or a strong smell to their urine, noticing straining or crying during urination, accidents in the house, needing to urinate more frequently, increased water consumption, or licking around their back end excessively after urinating, you'll need to get them checked out by your veterinarian to rule out a UTI. Now, UTI doesn't always mean an infection. It can mean urinary tract inflammation. There are many causes of lower urinary tract problems that can lead to the symptoms I just mentioned. Some of the other causes include bladder inflammation or infection, stress, stones, crystals or sludge in the bladder or urethra, incontinence, trauma, prostate disease, congenital abnormalities like inverted vulvas, and even cancer. This is why it's so important to get your pet checked out by your veterinarian if you're noticing any of the mentioned signs. So what causes urinary tract infections? Normal dog and cat urine is on the slightly acidic side of neutral and should have a pH of around 6 to 7. This is because dogs and cats are carnivores and should be eating a diet higher in protein or meat. However, when the pH of the urine gets too high or too low, this is when crystals and even bladder stones or uroliths can form. This happens commonly due to inappropriate diets like ultra-processed kibbles. So kibble is higher in carbs and vegetable matter. Herbivores like goats, horses, and cows naturally have a higher or more alkaline urine pH than a carnivore would due to their plant diet. Also, many diets are too high in magnesium, ammonium, and phosphate, which is what makes up the common struvite crystal. I'll discuss more about how you can use diet to manipulate the pH and what diets are best to keep your dog's urinary tract healthy. Urinary tract infections also tend to be more common in older female dogs, and if pets have concurrent conditions like diabetes or if they're on immunosuppressive drugs like steroids. This is because females have wider urethras than males, which can allow bacteria to ascend back up the urethra to the bladder. So how do you diagnose a lower urinary tract problem? Once again, if you're noticing any of the previously mentioned symptoms in your dog, it's crucial to take them to your veterinarian. Your vet will do a physical exam to make sure there are no congenital problems or conformational issues that are predisposing them to things like urine pooling. They also need to perform a urinalysis. If the urinalysis shows an infection, I highly recommend running a urine culture. This will help identify what type of bacteria is present, which antibiotic will work against it. Many times your pet will be put on an antibiotic for a presumed UTI, but you don't even know if there's a true infection present. Antibiotics have a time and a place, but if we're using them inappropriately, they will affect your pet's gut health and can cause other health issues down the road. Also, misusing antibiotics has led to a massive problem with antibiotic resistance. I've seen pets that have never had antibiotics come back on a culture with a resistant strain of bacteria. It's very important to not skip a culture if at all possible. Other tests your veterinarian may recommend include an ultrasound, blood work, or a radiograph, which will help rule out bladder stones and bladder cancers. Now that you've hopefully identified why your dog is having symptoms, there are numerous natural remedies you can use to help your dog feel better, but also prevent UTIs in the future. First, though, let's talk about diet further. As I discussed earlier, your dog's urine pH is directly related to the food you're feeding. If your dog's on a high carb, starchy food, the pH of the urine will be higher, which will be predisposing them to struvite crystals, stones, and even bacterial infection. If your dog's pH is too low, calcium oxalate crystals and stones can form. Ideally, we want your dog's pH to be just below neutral at 6 to 7. They should be on a species-appropriate diet that is higher in protein due to meat and low in starches. Ideally, if you can feed a fresh or raw food diet, this is ideal. Make sure to work with an integrative or holistic veterinarian to figure out the best and most balanced diet for your dog to achieve optimal health. So, what about the prescription diets that are recommended for life for urinary crystals and stones? Most of these diets are high in carbs and starches, which was the original problem for the pH being off. Another issue with most of these diets is that the proteins are feed grade, not food grade. This means that the meats are the unusable meats from the human side and are often diseased and poor quality that are being rendered into pet food. The reason these prescription foods help reduce pH is the addition of an amino acid, DL-methionine. This is an essential amino acid that helps chelate heavy metals and regulates the formation of ammonia. When it's metabolized by the body, sulfuric acid is formed that lowers or acidifies the urine. Therefore, when your dog's urine is too high, this can be helpful, which is why it's in the prescription foods. This also shows why it's important to know the pH of your dog's urine. If the pH is already too low, you can make things worse by adding this into their diet. Here's a helpful trick you can do with your dogs at home. Get urine pH strips from your vet clinic or from a human pharmacy, and you can check your dog's urine first thing in the morning prior to feeding them. Then keep a journal, and you'll be able to get a good idea of where your dog's urine pH sits and if you need to make adjustments to their diet and supplements like methionine. Some of the other common natural remedies that you can use to support better bladder health in dogs includes D-mannose, N-acetylglucosamine, corn silk, marshmallow root, uva ursi, goldenrod, horsetail, and cranberry extract. Make sure to check out our blog post for how to use these natural remedies at thenaturalpetdoctor.com. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. And to get our free guide on how to naturally optimize your pet's health, make sure you click the link down in this description. As always, I love to hear from amazing pet parents like you. So if you have other pet health topics you'd like to hear about, make sure to leave a comment down below. And remember, you have the power to help your pet live a long and vibrant life. Together, we can make the change that's needed to help your fur family thrive naturally. Until next time, I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, the Natural Pet Doctor. Take care, pet parents.